Now, really important, we're not done yet with cost of goods sold, okay? Because we need to take into account how much the stuff costs to get to us, which is another thing of saying carriage inwards. It can also be called customs duty. It can be called delivery fees or delivery inwards, okay? Or anything along those lines. Carriage inwards, cartage inwards, anything along those lines is going to be the fee that is paid to get the goods to us. So this is going to be carriage inwards. And that comes to a total of $500. Okay. Then we can draw a line again because we're going to total all of those. So 197,400 plus the 500 plus the 76,000. Okay. That comes to a total of $273,900. But we're not done there just yet. We need to minus off our closing inventory. Okay. But before we do that, that 273,900 can also be called goods available for sale. Because that's how much inventory or how much it cost us to have, okay, the goods available for sale, okay. But really key point in cost of goods sold is it's what we actually sold, okay. So we have to minus off our closing stock because we never sold it, okay. So less closing stock or closing inventory, which is $20,300. Remember, we're going to put that in brackets because it's a less. And that's going to give us a total COGS, or cost of goods sold is what COGS stands for. And that comes to 253,600. And we've put that in brackets because we're going to minus that off the sales. And we can underline that. And if we minus our total COGS from our net sales, we get something called gross profit. Okay, so it's going to be 390,250 minus our 253,600, which should get 136,650. Okay. Now, at the point we are at now, we are at what's called a trading statement. So that there, from sales all the way to gross profit, is called a trading statement. And how we turn this into an income statement is by adding our other income and then minus our extra expenses. So we're going to put other income down. We can underline that because that is a title. Okay. And then we can look through all these accounts over on this right-hand side and see if there's any other incomes. And the only one that really jumps out of us is rent received, okay? So we're going to call rent received. Okay? And that value is $1,500. And because it's the only other income, we're going to put it into this far column. We're going to add 1,500. We can total that now. So add 1,500 to the 136,650, which should get 138,150. Okay, but we're not done just yet. We have to less our expenses. Okay. So as we can see down with the accounts on the right-hand side, we are going to have to add some columns here. But also, we can identify which of the following are expenses. We know carriage outwards, okay, is an expense. We know electricity, we know insurance, we know interest, okay, and we know wages. They're all expenses. Okay, so we can put them down. And just to be really nitpicky, I'm going to write them in alphabetical order. So carriage outward first, which comes to 4050. Electricity, which comes to 3,500. Insurance, which comes to 1,400. Interest paid, 6,300. And the last one is wages. So these are not the wages we get, but the wages we pay our staff, 31,500. Then we can underline that. Okay, and then we can go total expenses. And that's going to go in this far column. So it's going to be the 4050 plus the 3500 plus the 1,400 plus the 6,300 plus the 31,500. Okay, and that comes to a total of $46,750. And then we can underline that. Okay. And this is going to be our final total. Okay. In this course, we're going to call it net profit. Okay. But it can also be known by other names. Okay. So 138,150 minus that is 91,400. And that's going to be double underlined because that's a final total. Okay, so that's a perfect income statement there for you, all laid out neatly. The last bit is net profit can also be known as earnings before interest and tax, or in brackets EBIT. So that concludes our video on income statements. The next video we're going to do is work through a whole example from income statement all the way through to a balance sheet or a statement of financial position. So join us then. Mate wa and enjoy.